Speak in public with confidence. 101 tips you can use now. Chapter 1. Audience. Introduction. Public speaking requires that you talk to a group of people on a specific topic. Without an audience, it's obvious that you will only be talking to yourself. A public speaker who has little regard for their audience won't get very far. The people you speak to determine the kind of message you communicate and the language you use to convey that message. So it's important that you know as much as you can about them. One of the most important things you can do as soon as you agree to speak on a topic is to ask questions about your audience. Questions are tools that help you uncover information. So act like a journalist. Get a blank piece of paper and list the following points which will help you get a better understanding of the people who will listen to your speech. Tip number 1. Know who your audience is. Are they old men, middle-aged women, or teenagers? The age of your audience often determines the language you use. You can imagine the strange looks you would get if you addressed a group of 70-year-olds and used slang words like swag and lit to mean style and extraordinary. Tip number 2. Know what your audience does. Are they small business owners, recent pensioners, or striking nurses? What would be the impact of your talk about loans for salaried workers if your audience is made up of unemployed graduates? 0, I would imagine. Tip number 3. Know why your audience is here. Does your audience want to be informed, educated, or entertained? Consider a scenario where you've been invited to give a talk to the staff of a bank which has recently collapsed. Would your talk be well received if it contained several jokes about people losing their jobs because of poor corporate governance practices? Tip number 4. Know how much time your audience has. Imagine planning a 1-hour speech for a group of people who have only 30 minutes of their lunch break to listen to you. Would they wait till the end of your talk to ask you questions? I doubt it very much. Tip number 5. Tip number 5. Use your smile. Start your talk by catching the attention of your audience. You can do this in a number of ways. One method is to walk onto the stage, stand in the middle, look at them, and smile. After 20 seconds or so, the curiosity factor will make them focus on you, and then you can begin your talk. Tip number 6. Ask relevant questions. Another way of connecting with your audience is to ask them a question on a current issue that's relevant to them. This shows them you are in sync with what concerns them and makes them more likely to be receptive to the message you are about to deliver. Tip number 7. Look for clues. During the speech, look out for feedback. Frowns may signify misunderstanding, so ask questions to clarify. Nodding heads may mean you're on track. It doesn't hurt to confirm by asking your audience whether they agree with the point or are following the speech. Tip number 8. Say thank you at the end. Finally, end by remembering to thank your audience. They sat through your speech and gave you feedback. It's only right that you show appreciation to them. Summary. Your audience will determine the kind of address you make. The more you know about them, the more effective your speaking will be. Be sensitive to your audience, and your public speaking will improve dramatically. End of chapter 1. Speak in public